Hi everyone, today we are going to be restoring and upgrading this iPod Classic 5.5 generation. The 5.5 generation is one of the best iPods of all time due to the excellent sound quality of the Wolfson DAC and a few improvements to the already great 5th generation. Compared to the 5th generation, the 5.5 generation has a brighter screen, some updated UI elements, and the new search feature. We are going to be replacing the failing hard drive with flash storage, replacing the battery, and installing a custom red faceplate. I thought that since I was already going to do this project, I might as well make a video about it. With that being said, let's get started. Now first of all, this is the before condition of the iPod. Let's check it out. So it has a bad hard drive and it kind of clicks like it's failing. It's not completely failed because the iPod turns on and everything like that, but it has some issues with the hard drive. And overall, the unit seems to be in fairly good condition. I'm interested in cracking these open and seeing what we can do with it. So what we are going to do is basically just turn it off right there and then slide the hold switch. And now we can get some prying tools and crack these open. So I found that metal tools work good for opening iPods if you do it carefully. So what you want to do is basically just stick it in somewhere and just kind of try to, start cracking these open. And I'm probably going to have to do this a lot off camera because it's kind of hard to do and it's easier if it's right in front of me. But basically you want to stick it in and you don't want to just grab the faceplate. This is a good place to start right here. You don't want to just grab the faceplate, you want to grab the entire metal enclosure. I'll see you when it's done. So it works if you pry on one side and then you can kind of just get the rest out. However, be careful when you're doing this because there are some cables that you do not want to rip. So I got that out like that, and now let's disconnect this little cable for the battery right here. So what you want to do is just take a prying tool right here. So I have one with a tip like this, and then you just want to pry that connector open, and now you can lay the iPod like this. And you can start doing some stuff right here. That battery looks a little swollen, but we're going to be replacing that. So you want to pull the hard drive out. And sometimes these can be kind of, gummy right here, just from, degradation and stuff. So you may want to wash your hands after this. And you just want to undo that little ribbon cable right there. Pull out the hard drive. And you can set these aside. And now there is this cable connecting the two halves. And you want to undo that and pull these out. So now we can set this part aside for now and we can work on the faceplate. Now for the battery, there's a special technique I want to show you, so just stick around. Now for the faceplate, there are some screws around it. So let me get a screwdriver. Okay, this one should work. And I'm just going to try to undo these screws. That's the wrong screwdriver. Alright, this one is working. So just undo these screws and you want to, of course, put them in a good location. Okay, those are all removed and we can set them aside. And now we can take the faceplate off so it separates from this metal piece right here. And the LCD kind of gets loose when we do that. Now, one thing to note, the replacement faceplate does not have a display cover. So that is kind of the issue with these, is it will not be as protected. But we can see the click wheel and button right there. And normally it all falls apart, but it's actually staying pretty good like that. Now, if you need to replace your display, you can just undo it right here. But this one is perfectly fine. And the 5.5 generation displays are slightly brighter than the normal ones. Alright, so this is the faceplate that I'm going to be using. So if we compare it to our original one, it's basically the same but red, and it doesn't have this cover and it's not shiny. So we can put that on right there. And since I made this one myself, it doesn't fit quite as good just because of the quality of the print. So you may need to do some experimenting, but I'm just going to try to put in these screws, and you may need to just kind of adjust it until it works if you're using your own especially. Okay, I got that all screwed in, but the LCD is a little loose, which always happens when I put on these. So I'm just going to get a piece of tape and tape that down just to make it more secure. So I'm just going to tape it kind of to the edge right here. That should work. It feels way more secure now. But why don't we just put a little on the top? And there we go. Now this part is ready. Let's get the back ready. Here is a tip when working on batteries in an iPod, a phone, or something else like that. Take some isopropyl alcohol in a dropper and just apply it underneath the battery. Just do a little bit and wait about a minute. This will soften the adhesive and make it much easier to remove, because normally iPod batteries are very hard to remove. So it's getting a little softer right here. And so you want to take a tool and just pry underneath the battery very carefully. And you want to use a tool preferably new that doesn't have any major snags on it or anything like that, because you don't want to damage the battery in any way, or that may be dangerous. And if you need to, apply a little more in here once you kind of get into the battery a little bit. And just let it soften. And be careful of the cable going here and to the headphone jack and hold switch. Well, really just the hold switch, because that runs kind of underneath the battery. It's getting easier. If you break the cable for the hold switch, I'm pretty sure that it will stay and hold all the time, and obviously that's not good. So just apply more as needed. And eventually the battery will start to come out. I mean, it already has started. There. I think we're making some good progress here. There we go. Just a little more, and I think we got it out. There we go. Now what we need to do is just dry everything off, and we'll be back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the new battery in. Right like that. And then we have some flash storage. So this is the iFlash Solo with a micro SD card inserted into adapter. And so we have this little micro SD card right here. And that is what's going to hold all the iPod's data. And so we just put it in this adapter. and then this is the replacement for the hard drive. So now what we are going to do is just, in this case, we want to pop that open and we want to connect these halves together. And this is not connecting the battery yet, it's just connecting the halves right like that. And then what we want to do is take the iFlash, make sure the thing is open, and we can just connect it right here, just like that. Make sure it's pushed in all the way and put that down. Now you just want to fit these in properly like that, and it should fit pretty tightly. However, I'm just going to take this remaining piece of tape and put it like that, just as extra precaution, otherwise these will be flapping around in here. Now our last step is to connect up the battery and test these out. So I'm just going to undo this battery connector right here. I'm just going to connect the battery and put it back together. But before we snap it back together, I want to make sure this works. So I'm just going to turn it on like that. Maybe it's not connected properly. That's why you do these kinds of things. Let's see if the iFlash is connected properly. There, that's the screen we were looking for. It's just that the ribbon cable on the iFlash wasn't quite tight. So now we can snap these back into position. And it's looking nice. I still need to remove that back sticker, but it's pretty good, and it says connect to iTunes to restore, so that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to connect it to iTunes, to my computer, and restore the software. It won't take that long, and then we will have our iPod. Alright, so this is the final iPod. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are new to this channel and you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, it's Fortnon Kiwi from Superuser. Project Dial.